How about 13 years old, paint cans in a bonfire?
Ooh, that was actually, that was right before me and my best friend, we had to go to a swim meet in Orlando, and we were in Daytona, which is like a 45-minute drive. And up early in the morning, and we decided to have a bonfire and throw paint cans, and the paint cans got started to explode, and like the woods in the back of our house started catching on fire. And you know those movies where like you run like 100 yards and you get this bucket of water and you fill it up and you run back and then you throw it in, like from you running you get like a drop of water. That's what we were doing. That's what was happening, and the flames got bigger and bigger, and we just looked at each other, and we, like me and my buddy, and we just started laughing. We were like, oh my gosh. And then the fire department came. And we were like, we saw the fire department, the fire truck come, and so we were taking a shovel, like putting dirt over the paint cans, because we were like, oh, we're gonna get in trouble, we're gonna get in trouble. And then the firefighters, they came over and they were going through like the sand and everything, and they started finding paint cans. They're like, what's this? And we're like, are we in trouble? So, yeah. And that was right before we had to go for a swim meet. And right when they left, we just got in the car and left, and my dad was like, we got to the pool in Orlando, he was like, man, you guys smell like smoke. And then the guy that drove us had to tell him that the fire department came, and he got a little mad.
Did he?
Just a little
What did he do?
He didn't do anything.
Okay.
He was just, it was just that look of your dad being like,
And he
man.
was he the softie of the two parents?
to me, yes.
Okay.
Because I was like his first boy.
Yeah.
So like I'd always go to him and be like, Daddy, can I have a couple, like, he'd always carry change because he'd know how to ask it, so I can go get a candy bar or a soda from the vending machine at where we used to have practice. So yeah, he was.
How about high school senior playing a game of manhunt?
When I got pushed out of a tree. I still take this to my grave. That it was my best friend that me and him, it was with the bonfire, the same guy, and we were playing manhunt. It was for my brother's birthday, and we were playing manhunt, and we hid up in a tree, and it was like probably 30 feet tall, and we were on the very top, and it was kind of like raining, and I swear my friend pushed me. I still don't know because I fell.
What does he say?
He says no.
Okay.
He said I just slipped, but I don't know. I just remember hitting the ground, and I don't really remember, but my dad said, I kept on asking him, where were we going on the way to the hospital, and he kept on saying, like, I already told you, you fell out of a tree, we're going to the hospital. And then I kept on saying, like, why was I up in the tree? And it just like a repeated like question that I was kept on saying to him over and over, and I guess after like the 4th or 5th time, he was like, oh crap, this is serious. So
It's probably scary, right?
I mean, yeah. I don't know. I don't really remember.
But everything ended up being fine.
Yeah.
I wanted to start by running through some of your injuries. I think it was 2007. Falling off your scooter and like flying 50 feet.
It wasn't my scooter, it was a skateboard. And I told my coach I was walking my dog. I still don't know if he knows the real story, but I was like, yeah, walking my dog, and he's like, I don't buy that crap.
Oh, and he's like the only person in the world that you're terrified of, right?
I'm still terrified of him. Like, there's just something about him that scares the shit out of me. But yeah, I was skateboarding, and I fell, and I went flying, and I fractured my foot right before I had to go to Worlds. For just name-wise, it goes to the Olympics, Worlds, Pan Pacs, and it's like the best of the best are going to be there.
Yeah.
But my foot was healing up, leading up right before, like a week before I actually raced. But then I jumped in the pool going to warm up at the swim meet, and I hit the bottom of the pool and I re-fractured it. So I swam with a fractured foot at Worlds, but I mean, that was my first time I broke a world record.
How does that work?
I don't know. I was just in a lot of pain.
How about brushing your teeth with tap water in China?
Oh gosh, you could definitely say I was on the toilet for a very long time after that. Yeah, I was like, how could tap water really do anything? I'm just brushing my teeth. I'm not swallowing anything. Like, I'm just brushing my teeth. Hours, days later, I was just sick to my stomach, throwing up out of both ends. And it was just bad. I was up on IVs with the doctors. I was just sick, bed rest, and yeah.
Understand it helped the bottom line of McDonald's, though.
Yeah, I ate McDonald's breakfast, lunch, and dinner. But it was like the only food that like I could trust was McDonald's that I knew. So
what would you eat?
I mean, you name it. A couple Big Macs, maybe a 12-piece nuggets, a couple cheeseburgers, and with a shake and some fries.
What about breakfast?
Egg McMuffin, couple Egg McMuffins and hash browns.
How much weight did you put on during the '08 games because of eating McDonald's so much?
I don't think I gained that much weight. I think it was like maybe like 4 or 5 pounds.
Okay, one of the articles said like 12 or 13 pounds during the game.
That was just like recently. When I got back into swimming, I was like 40 pounds overweight.
Yeah, 217 pounds and you're 187 normally, and you still killed everybody in the race.
Yeah, surprisingly.
All right, after the '09 Worlds in Rome, you're back home and you go breakdancing in Gainesville.
Yes, I was breakdancing in my living room. I was watching it as like America's Best Dance Crew or something on TV. I was like, man, I could do that. Watch. Obviously not, because one foot, like my foot went that way, my knee went that way. I heard a big pop, and I tore my meniscus.
What was the recovery?
Oh, I think the recovery was really bad for my meniscus, just because I didn't listen to the doctors. Like, I was like itching to get back in the water. Like, I was like, I can walk now. I can get back in. I can go full throttle. And I just prolonged my injury.
And your wife Kayla said you once tore your groin right before trials?
2016, it was the prelims of my very first race, my 400 IM, in 2016, and I did a breaststroke pullout, and my first breaststroke kick, I tore my groin. And I had to swim the rest of the meet with a torn groin.
How does that work?
I don't know, but pulling your groin or tearing your groin is like the worst feeling.
All right,
especially if you're a
describe the pain.
swimmer, because butterfly kick, freestyle kick, breaststroke, like you're just in a lot of pain.
A fan interaction led to a torn MCL and a sprained ACL?
Yes. It was during college football season, and we went to Jacksonville, which it's University of Georgia versus University of Florida football, and we always go there to like party. And we were walking out of the hotel room over by the landing, and I just remember walking and hearing like, Ryan, and like as soon as I turned around, it was this big-sized woman, and she was in mid-air, like running at me mid-air, and I caught her, like I grabbed her like this, and her momentum knocked me down on the ground, and my knee hit the corner of the sidewalk, and I completely tore my MCL and sprained my ACL. I was like, hey, next time, just tap me on my shoulder. I'll still take a picture. Like, and she was crying. She's like, I can't believe it's you. Oh my God, this is a dream come true. And I took the picture, and she went her separate way, and I went back, and I was just on it the rest of the day, just walking around and like limping. And then I got back to my hotel room that night, and my knee was like a basketball. I was like, crap. But I didn't get surgery. They said, you have to get surgery. I was like, no, I'm not going to. Because I know when I tore my meniscus, it was so long. This is worse. Like, I can't do it. And somehow I just did rehab day in, day out. And I was back in the water training within like 4 or 5 weeks. The people were like, you should be in like a science book because this is unheard of.
Last one, getting out of bed too quickly that led to a concussion.
Oh, yes. You know, I guess it's my fault because I don't stay hydrated. But
How do you not stay hydrated when you're an Olympic athlete?
I hate drinking water. I hate it. I don't know why. I just don't like, I need it taste. I need something. So
well, you can drink other stuff besides water that would hydrate you.
I know, but I just, at that time I didn't because as soon as I got out too fast. Got up too fast and I started getting dizzy and I like blacked out and I went face first on the ground. It was just out cold.
And you woke up with a concussion?
Yeah, I was just like, what just happened? My face was all bleeding. I'm just like, what? What's going on?
Do you now hydrate?
I mean, I could do better.
All right. The Tokyo Olympics, obviously now postponed. Hopefully it happens in 2021.
Yeah.
How would you best explain the significance of those games for you?
This is probably going to be my most important Olympic Games, if I make it. I feel like I have more to prove and more things to overcome than I've ever had before. Everything, because it's not like, before my swimming was just all about me. It was just like, how bad do you want to win, Ryan? Like, you got to work hard. This time, I want to prove to everyone that they're wrong. Like, I can still do it. And age is just a number. But man, every day in practice, I feel it.
Do you?
I feel it so much. It's just, I mean, I've been doing this sport since I was like 7 years old. And I'm about to turn 36. So almost 29 years, like, it's just grinding day in, day out. And you can ask my coach, my dad, anyone that's coached me or swimmers, like when I go to the swimming pool, I don't hold anything back. Like I'm going full throttle. Like I am bleeding. Like I'll just keep going and going. And just been doing this for so long that, I mean, I feel it. It's taken a toll.
What's the difference in how you feel now practicing versus the lead up to an earlier Olympics?
I recover a lot faster.
And so that means what?
Like back then, I was able to go have a great practice and just leave everything out there, and the next day, a couple hours later, do it again. I can't do that now. Like I have to be smart. I have to start listening to my body a lot more. And recovery, like I could go home and take naps back then, because I didn't have anything.
Now you got a wife and kids.
Now I have kids that love to jump on me and be like, "Daddy, it's playtime." I'm like, oh, whoo. So I have to get all this energy because I'm so tired because I worked so hard in the pool that when I come home, I have to get this energy out of me to be like this playful, loving dad, and have all this energy for him, and do it with a smile and everything. And it's draining because you have to just be basically on point nonstop.
Why is it the greatest pressure you said you've ever felt?
Because I'm not swimming just for myself. I'm swimming for my family and for everyone that's doubted me or anything. And that is why I'm still being able to compete with all these young kids right now, is because I have more motivation than I ever did before. Those two little nuggets upstairs and my wife, like they're the ones that push me. I said I'm gonna stop swimming when I stop having fun. And I lost that. I lost that after 2012 Olympics, how fun swimming is. I lost it for so long, and I just got it back, just recently.
How'd you get it back?
Those two nuggets, just seeing my son being born, like brought a whole new perspective of life to me. And I'm just happy. I'm happy right now. And I love swimming. I love to go to the pool and just get my ass whooped by my coach. I love it. And I'm looking at the positive of why the Olympics are not happening this summer. They're happening next because I get another full year of training to get even better.
How do the kids and wife provide motivation?
Because they're my biggest supporters, and I don't want to let them down. I know I have my goals that I want to accomplish in the sport of swimming, but I mean, as you reach a certain point in your swimming career, well, for me, it's hard to keep moving forward, to keep bettering yourself, and you just got to find different ways, and I found my way, and it's my family.
What are your goals for the upcoming games?
No, I can't say. I never tell my goals. It's just something that I've always done my entire life. Those are my goals, and I'm going to keep them to myself and keep the rest of the world guessing, I guess. But I guess one is no-brainer. I do want to make my Olympic team. I want to make my 5th Olympics. I know there's only a handful of people that's been able to do that. So I definitely want to make my 5th Olympics.
What was the time you set in your world record?
In the 200 IM? 154?
And what's this I hear about maybe getting 53 or 52?
Did my dad tell you this? That little He wasn't supposed to say anything. Well, I guess that's out of the bag. Damn. But I mean, yeah, I guess there's another goal. I do want to break my world record.
Is that, I mean, is that supposed to be confidential?
Yeah, I was.
What's your level of confidence that you can do that?
Really good. I honestly, I mean, it's one of my goals, and I don't stop until I reach those goals. And just like my mentality right now is so much better than it's ever been. And I'm seeing times that I've done in practice that I've hardly ever saw when I was back in my peak in 2011, 2012.
Your dad also said he's ready for it to just be over in terms of the Olympics. Your thoughts on that?
I'm not ready, because I love it. I love being able to do something that no one else has ever done, or being able to represent your own country, to wear a cap with your American flag, with your name under it. Like, that to me is just bad ass. Like, I love that. And it doesn't get old. I don't want it to ever end, because I love that feeling. Like, you're representing the United States of America, like, at the biggest stage in sports, the Olympics. Like, to me, that's everything.
Why do you think he feels that way?
Probably because of all the ups and downs, this big ass roller coaster ride that he's been on with me throughout my entire life. And he's like, I'm ready to just take a breath, sit back, have a cold one on a beach, and just relax and not have to worry about my son swimming or anything.
But he loves it too.
Oh, he loves it too.
Yeah.
Don't let him kid you.
Yeah.
Now that he's kind of retired, I'm trying to get him back into the sport again, and getting back on the pool deck, watching me, and seeing that smile, that smirk on his face is everything to me.
Why is it important to you to get him back up here more?
Because he's my dad. I mean, besides my wife and kids, he's been there. He's been there longer than anyone, and he's my biggest fan. And I wouldn't be the person I am or done what I've been able to do at the Olympics or in swimming without him.
Your dad was telling a funny story that's now kind of famous about your early days in swimming. You used to have fun in the showers.
Man, he told you that. Yes. I mean, as a little kid growing up, I loved being in the pool. I loved swimming, but The funnest thing was me trying to get kicked out of practice every day. Because if I got kicked out of practice, that means I can go in the showers, I can clog up all the drains and make it like a big old slip and slide, put shampoo on the floor and just eat candy and slip and slide. What's
your earliest memory in the water?
The one that I could really remember is I was about 8 years old, and it was like, I want to say like a 25 like freestyle or 25 backstroke, and I won. And instead of getting a ribbon, I wanted to win because the winners in each heat got a little bag of candy. I'm like, what? This is awesome. I was like, I have to win. So I remember just winning and getting this bag of candy. I'm like, holding it up, I'm like, yes, I did it, I did it.
I want to take you back to when you were 14 years old. That was, in a way, I think a turning point for you because you had just lost, I believe, in the Junior Olympics. You're in the car driving with your dad. Home. The conversation's what?
It wasn't much conversation. I was dead silent. I was quiet, just staring out of the window. And I remember him coming to me, him saying, being like, hey, what's wrong? I'm like, oh, nothing. He's not, no, what? What's wrong? I lost. He's like, well, what are you going to do about it? And then I just remember turning around to him, looking at him and being like, I'm never going to let that happen again.
Why does that get to you?
Because it's something like I always get really like teary-eyed or anything when something happy or something exciting or something that changes someone's life happens. And for me, that was something that happened. It was my turning point in my swimming career. Because after that, I said that, I wasn't trying to get kicked out of practice anymore. I was there and I was training harder, training faster. And my friend that would always beat me for the high point, he never beat me again.
How do you take winning or losing?
With a grain of salt. You know, one of my challenges that I have in swimming is I swim so many multiple events. And I do that because it's so hard. Anyone can like become just a straight backstroker or a straight freestyler. It's so hard to train because you have to train for every different stroke in order to do the individual medley. And I love a challenge. So there's been times where I got last or I got beat. And then like 20 minutes later, I had another race where then I just put it behind me and then I was able to win. And I've kind of done that through not just swimming, through everything. Like, you can't change the past, but you can change the present and then the future. And that's what I always thought about. Like, I can't dwell on the past, whether I win or lose. I can't, like, it happened. Like, I can't change it. I can do now, make things better now to where it doesn't happen again. And I mean, I've been able to do that through all my swimming career because I'd have to go to one race after another, back to back. So I never really sat down and been like, man, I just lost this, like I'm down, mopey. But no, I just forget about it.
So the mental preparation is a really, really key piece of this, even if it's intentional or not.
Yeah. I mean, they say swimming is like 80% mental, 20% physical. I mean, I'm a firm believer now that I'm getting older. A lot is mental. I mean, you still have to do the work. Of course, you have to put the work in. But I'm able now to realize everything because I've been in swimming for so long. Like, I know the mental game.
For a lot of people, the sport's 24/7. I know at least for a long time when you were growing up, it was not the case for you, and you felt that benefited you a lot. And you know, your dad even spoke about how when he was training you, he was intentional in limiting the number of hours that you were in the pool, so you peaked later in life. What about now, though, in terms of kind of 24/7 commitment?
It goes back to when my dad was coaching me. Is on the pool deck, it was always coach, Never said dad. It was always coach. Coach, coach, coach. And as soon as we left the pool deck, we never talked about swimming. We'd be at home, never talked about practice. And it was my dad. It wasn't coach, it was my dad. And then when I get back to the pool, it's like I'm clocking in again. It's back to just training. And I still do it to this day, like swimming. I leave swimming at the pool. And then when I get home, I'm a dad. I get to have fun. So it's, yeah, I mean, I love it.
To what extent do you think you've gotten the credit you deserve?
I don't need credit that I'm deserved. I don't think I'm deserved anything. I'm just doing what I love to do. I'm swimming. I love swimming. I don't think I need credit for that. I mean, if anything, credit should be like that I'm able to wake up and see my family. Like, that's amazing. I have a roof over my head. Like, that's amazing. I don't need any credit. Not at all.
Growing up, 2 older sisters, 2 younger brothers. Describe what life was like for you as a kid.
Man, I was like my sisters, like a little puppet. Like they would just, they'd scare the out of me all the time. But they were always loving. Like we were always close together. Like if I fell down, they'd pick me up. But the reason why, because they probably knocked me down. No, it was, I mean, they would scare me, they would dress me up, like I was like their little Barbie doll. I was like, what the heck is going on? But then when my younger brother was born, I was like, now I get to unleash hell on you. So it was just that cycle. But yeah, it was fun growing up. I loved it. I mean, we hardly were ever in the house. We had huge land, like, I don't know how many acres, like 115 acres on a hill that overlooked the valley. And it was basically me playing in the woods all the time.
And your grandpa had a big farm.
Oh yeah, we lived on my grandpa's like property, I guess. He had like so many acres, like 150 something acres, and we lived on it. We built our own house. And I'd always go to his house. I'd ride the tractor with him. It was like, I never wanted to be inside. Always wanted to be outside, picking raspberries with my grandma, like just everything outside.
And you moved to Florida when you were 12 years old for your dad's swim coach job. How did life change then?
I mean, it was sad because I left my friends, but I mean, I was so young. I picked up friends like that. Nothing really changed. I mean, I wasn't playing lacrosse or soccer anymore. It was more, I was skateboarding. I picked up skateboarding, surfing, so water sports. So I was like, man, I like this. Playing basketball a lot more. But yeah, I mean, I didn't have to deal with winter anymore because being in upstate New York, you get mad snow.
Describe what that period of time was like for you.
I mean, I was more, I wasn't around the house at all. I was in college. Or, no, I was here in Gainesville just training. So it was a difficult time just because, I mean, growing up, you always see 2 people together all the time. All you see is, wow, my parents, they're happy. They love each other. But, you know, that's just not the case. As you get older, you start learning, and that wasn't the case. But a lot of things happened in my life. A lot of separation through the family. The kids kind of leaning to one side of the family and not the other. And then, I don't know, people's true colors come out. And
that meant what for you?
You know, man, I haven't really talked about this. You know, it's at one point it was just like we were all against. I mean, we were all against someone, and then later on in life it changed.
And that was your presumably dad initially?
And we were all against him, just because everything I was getting feeding like all this information that I didn't know if it was true or not. And it was hard for him to tell us the truth just because he cared so much about us. And if he told us the truth on everything, why they got divorced and all this, that we would never speak to him again. But matter of fact, when I found out the truth from him, I mean, I almost got up and punched him just because I was pissed. I was angry. I mean, like, how could you do that? But we settled it, cleared everything out, and me and my dad are closer than we've ever been right now. And I'm happy that it happened because he's so happy right now. And Natalie, my stepmom, well, I don't even call her my stepmom anymore. I call her mom because she is my mom. How she treats me, my family, and my dad, like, she's the best. She's the best thing that's ever happened. This is something that I don't regret happened because they're happy, and that's all I want.
How did it impact your relationship with your mom?
Well, when it happened, we were all on my mom's side. But then later on in life, when I told her, that she was going to be a grandma, and I'm having a kid, she said some very, very hurtful things that kind of ended our relationship, me and her.
What did she say?
I mean, I don't know if I really want to put this on. She just said some things to me and my wife that, I mean, I can get over it, but I just want an apology from her. And she said that she'll never apologize. She has nothing to say sorry for. And from there on, I haven't spoken to her in years. And honestly, I hate to say this, I don't care. I'm happy right now with my family. My job is to protect my family. And I will do anything, no matter what, to protect my family.
What's the likelihood you think it could be repaired?
Knowing my mom, she's stubborn as hell. She'll never apologize. So. I
mean, it sounds like you're stubborn too, though, right?
I am too, yeah, and that's probably where I get it from. And all I want is a sincere apology to me, and she has a lot of kissing to my wife and my kids. But I can get over it, but I know she won't. It's just her.
Is whatever the issue is significant enough to let it keep you guys apart?
Yeah, I mean, it has. I mean, but like I said, I've moved on. I moved on from that because it was so hurtful and so hurtful to my family. And the only thing I know how to do is to protect my family now. And I have a great mom upstairs and a dad. And my kids have a great grandparents. Like, I swear, like, my mom upstairs, like, she has more energy than I do. I'm like, how the heck can you do this? And like, she's a saint. And my dad is just the happiest person ever right now. And I love that.
How did it impact the relationships that your other siblings have with her?
I don't know. I mean, it's definitely, our family's definitely split. My oldest sister and my mom are kind of in cahoots, and they have their own kind of life. Me and my younger sister of the two are together, and my brother, he's kind of like back and forth, wishy-washy. He doesn't really talk to anyone in the family except for me, and my dad sometimes. But yeah, he doesn't, like, he talks to me every day, just because we stay close no matter what. But yeah, I mean, I guess since the divorce, I guess it's basically when my family kind of splitted in a way.
I mean, obviously it is what it is, but
yeah, it is what it is.
How would you like it to be?
I don't know if, I think the only thing I would like is my siblings where we are closer together. I do miss that. But like I said,
What does Kayla say?
she's happy right now. Like, we don't talk about it.
Yeah.
Because it was just something that happened to me and her, and that crushed us. But we moved forward and we stuck together as a family, and we have a family, and we love it, and we're happy.
Michael Phelps, another guy, or another somebody that you know known for a long time.
Yeah.
How would you describe how competitive the two of you were with one another?
I want to say, because I was part of it, it's like a Magic Johnson and Larry Bird type rivalry. I mean, it was awesome. I had so much fun because it was Michael Phelps, the best swimmer ever. And I was in his era, and I was able to beat him. And he was beating me, and we were just going back and forth, and we respected each other so much. And I mean, he's been through a lot just like I have, and he's overcome it. And we still talk now that he's not swimming.
What will you talk about?
You know, after Rio and everything, I was in a dark place, and I was just reaching out, being like, I need help. Somebody help me. And he was giving me advice. I'm like, how can you do this? Like after being like, have everyone hated on you, how can you get back in the water and still like train for your goal? Like, how can you do this? And he's like, you just gotta look to your family. And like him telling me like little goals. So in swimming terms, we have like, you take 6 kicks for every 1 stroke.
Okay.
So it's called a 6-speed kick. And he was like, just try that and call me later after the month and see how you feel. So I tried it, and I mean, my legs were like rock solid. I was hauling ass. I was like, you little shit. It's like, dang it. How do you know all these things? I think I like him now better than when me and him raced against each other.
I mean, that kind of makes sense, though, right?
Not just because like I'm not racing against him, is because he's grown up a lot. He has a family now, so I honestly think like once you have like kids of your own, like life changes. And he's here to help now. Like, he wouldn't give me out pointers when we were racing against each other, no. But yeah, he's giving out pointers. Like, he wants to be a role model for everyone. When
you guys were competing against one another, describe what those competitions were like.
I mean, it wasn't like, oh, I'm gonna whoop you. Like, it wasn't negative. It was more like, you know, you're gonna have to pull everything out of you in order to beat me, because I'm not gonna go down that easy. And that's how our mentality was. I think he says this still to this day, like, out of all his competitors he's ever raced against, I'm his hardest competitor, because I never back down.
I mean, that would make sense too. You're outside of him, you're the most accomplished swimmer ever. Yeah, and you know, I mean, like those kind of things, I mean, go through one ear, out the other. But when he said that, it kind of stuck with me. I'm like, wow, that's like, am I that good? Like, I don't know. It seems like you don't view yourself in the same way that your achievement should warrant.
No, not at all. Why? like if people like say, "Oh my God, you're like a superstar. You're like you have all these gold medals, world records." I'm like, "Oh, I do? Oh, awesome, sweet." It's not. I'm not gonna be like, "Oh, check this out." Like I'm not like that at all.
If he was never a swimmer, do you think your results would be better or worse?
See, I have to say yes and no, just because we pushed each other. There's been sets in practice where I'm like, you know, if Phelps did this, he'd go even faster. So I'd like push myself even harder just because I know he's out there training just as hard. But then again, like just my mentality of me wanting to just get better and get faster. If it wasn't there, maybe I would have all these more like world records, more gold medals. I don't know. All I know is that during the Phelps era, we pushed each other and we made the best swimmer out of each other.
I want to ask you about a couple notable moments from your career. The first being the 2004 Olympic trials, where you qualified for the games for the first time, not only ensuring that you'd be an Olympian for the first time, but that your dad, a longtime swimming coach, had not only his first ever student in the Olympic Games, but it just so happened to be his son.
For me, it was, my goal was always, ever since I was little, it was about 92 Olympic Games. I remember seeing, I actually have a cap of him. He was a Pablo Morales. He was a 100 butterflyer for the U.S. It says, "To Ryan, keep on flying." And I would just remember being like him. And he's like, that's when I set my goals. I was like, I want to make the Olympic team, but I just don't want to make the Olympic team. I want to get a gold medal. And while getting a gold medal, I want to break a world record. And so growing up, like that was always kind of like that goal. And, you know, just all the workouts that my dad had to put me through and to see me grow and to actually see his son, not just a swimmer of his actual son. I could definitely see my dad being very, very emotional.
The 2008 Olympic Games,
Yes.
gold medal in the backstroke final. Take me through from the very tail end of that race till you go up to your dad.
Oh, shit. I told myself I wasn't gonna get teary-eyed for this, but I remember pushing off the wall, going into the last 50 of the 200 backstroke in Beijing, and I could see out of the corner of my eye, like Aaron Pearsall, which is the current world record holder, had it for so many years, never lost that race. I just remember towards the end of the race, we were going neck and neck, stroke for stroke, and I remember like staring up at the ceiling and being, if there's anyone up there, help me. And then for something happened, and I got this burst of energy or something, and it like someone just slingshotted me to the finish. I just remember touching that wall and seeing lane, I think it was like lane 5, like Ryan Lochte, and it had a big WR, meaning world record. And I won. And I just remember leaning back and just looking up and being like, thank you. I finally did it. And to have your dreams come true, I can't put in words. My dream finally came true. and I gave him a big hug. And I said, Dad, I did it. He goes, no, you're great. Then after that, I probably said like, yeah, right, no, I'm not. I got another race soon. And I just walked off, but yeah.
Is that the moment for you?
Yeah.
There, I want to completely shift gears here, but I don't know if we can grab a tissue before we go.
I didn't want to interrupt. It was going so well.
Get everybody cheered up here, Ryan.
A great story.
I remember that.
Is it as vivid now as it?
Yeah, just because I remember just running up to him and hugging him, being like, Dad, I did it. And then he said, no, you're great. Because for the longest time, he was like, you're good, but you're not great yet.
He said that to you?
Yeah, until you get a gold medal and break a world record. Because that was my goal, that was my dream. And once it happened, he said, now you're great.
Have you guys talked about that moment since then?
Yes, a little. Not as much. Because like me, I don't really dwell on the past. Like I can't say dwell. I mean, I don't really think about the past.
Yeah.
I just keep moving forward. But I think I think that was like, this is one of the times where I actually put myself back in 2008.
Yeah.
At that moment.
I want to talk to you about Rio. To what extent do you think the public generally thinks all that was entirely made up by you, when in fact the large majority of it was true?
I think everyone in this world. I mean, just knowing what I know now, it's like people just read the headlines, and I mean, I'm not blaming anything on like social media or media. I'm not doing that because, you know, it was me. I did it. But I wish they did get the full story and they actually had the full story, the facts, which I said. I just fabricated just one little part about the gun not being like pointed at my forehead. It was like 4 or 5 feet away at my chest. That's the thing I fabricated, but everything else was true. And it just ran, like it just spread like a wildfire. It was all over. The thing I hate the most is it happened during the Olympics and it took away these other athletes' glory. The people winning a medal. It took away from, or being at the Olympics, it took away from that because this took over everything. I got home and I couldn't turn on the TV without seeing my face on there. I shouldn't have went on social media, and I did, and I was reading comments of, I was getting death threats, being like, you need to die, go kill yourself, you're scum. Just the worst of the worst. The thing that got me the most was the little kids being like, I used to look up to you and now I don't. That's what got me. But, I mean, everything happens for a reason. And my wife now Kayla, she was my girlfriend at the time.
Of only a number of months.
Of only a number of months, and she stuck with me through this. And if this didn't happen, who knows? Like, we probably wouldn't have gotten married, or like, we have no idea. Like, there's only one way to go in me and Kayla's relationship, and that's up. Because we've hit rock bottom, and we've been through the worst of the worst. But we stuck together, and she's my rock. She helped me through everything. It got to a point where I was crying, and I was like, Kayla, maybe if I go to sleep and not wake up, it will be fine for everyone. Because I just didn't want anyone to be sad or hurt by me. Meaning, like, if I went to a remote island and just disappeared, then everyone would be happy. That's what was going through my head, and then Kayla basically kind of slapped me and said, you're better than this. Like, don't let them win. You know what happened. Like, you have to fight this. Like, we're gonna fight this together. And I did. And I'm still trying to fight my way back.
When you see your two swimming teammates get taken off their plane in Brazil so they can't fly back to the States because of it, what are you thinking?
I was cussing. I was cussing a lot at my house. I was like, this is bull crap. Like, they should be able to go home. Like, this is all my fault. Like, everything I put on me. Because everything was my fault. After that, sponsors everyone left me. I had no one. Not one single person except my family. And then a couple of my friends. Everyone else left me. So now it's hard getting like sponsorships now. Even though, like, leading up to maybe my 5th Olympics, it's gonna be like one of the biggest stories, just because of my old age and and everything that's happened in my life.
Well, I mean, not just because of your age. I mean, it'd be your 5th Olympics, and you're again one of the most accomplished Olympians in history. So
yeah,
I mean, it's not just age. But there's a comeback story too, right?
Yeah. It's just hard to get new sponsors now.
What do they say?
Just like if they say, oh, we Googled like this company, I was gonna sign with them, and like they said, oh, we Googled your name, and the first thing like that popped up was like your something about Rio, and then I'm like, so we're just gonna put it on pause. I'm like, all right. So it's just an uphill battle right now.
What was the 10-month ban for that you received?
I think it was for breaking the protocol rule of like being out late. Like, it was just the biggest story. So I feel like USA Swimming was like, well, we have to give them a pretty hefty like ban because it's so big.
And then you're just finally through that first ban, and then you're, completely innocent, getting a, what is it, B12 IV?
I got a B12 IV because
Kayla wasn't feeling well.
Kayla was sicker than a dog. My son Caden was sick, and like everyone was getting sick, and I didn't want to get sick. Like, I can't afford to get sick for my family. Like, that will take me out of swimming. Like, I can't do that, so.
And you guys post a picture of it on Instagram.
Yeah, not knowing anything, because I was like, oh, I'm getting B12. Not one performance enhancement at all. It was vitamins. And I guess the USA Swimming wanted to make an example out of me again or something. I don't know. So I agreed. I was like, you know what? This is my fault. I agree with whatever sentence you guys give me. And they gave me a 14-month ban because of I had too much liquid in an IV, intravenous, it was the amount of liquid. I was like, so wait, you're saying I could have had just regular water, or I could have had straight steroids, and it would still be the same? They're like, yeah, you just can't have that much liquid in an IV. And I'm like, okay.
It was actually after that second ban that you reached your lowest point, right?
Yeah, after that second ban, I was like, maybe I should just stop. I mean, I went to 4 Olympics. I have 12 Olympic medals. Like, that's a pretty good run. Like, maybe I should just give it up. But no, I want to prove everyone wrong.
I read a quote where you said you recognized at the time, though, if you continued down the path you were continuing down, you said you thought you'd end up dead.
Oh, 100%. It was just one bad thing after another that was happening. And I was just in this spiral, like staircase going just down, down, down. I was just always getting in trouble. Like, I was drinking too much. I was just not, my head wasn't in the right spot. And it was just kicking down doors of hotel rooms or just doing anything stupid, just not thinking with a clear head.
Why did you decide to go to rehab?
Because I wanted to. I started realizing, like, this is not me. Like, this is not Ryan Lochte. I was like, I need to wake up and smell the coffee. Like, I need something. I need to change something. So I checked myself in rehab. And just, like, hearing other people's stories, I was like, man, if I just keep going, like, I'm gonna wind up dead. But yeah, it was a wake-up call. It was just, I was going down the wrong tube.
You said, without Rio, I never would have woken up. I never would have wanted to change. Probably wouldn't have the family I do now. Mm-hmm. Why?
Because I'm a firm believer of everything happens for a reason. If that didn't happen in Rio, it wouldn't have probably gotten me and Kayla closer together. And then we probably would have never got married. We would have never had kids. Like, my mental state is just, it's because of her. Because she stuck by me. I'm like, still, sometimes I lay in bed, I'm like, look over, I'm like, how the hell are you still here? Like, any person in their right mind, we were only dating for a couple months, and she went through the ringer.
She said one of the moments with you where she realized the relationship was different was when you guys were together and you were talking about family and the desire to be a great dad.
That was our very first, like, kind of conversation we had. It was 8 hours long. And I mean, I could say this now because back then it was like, I mean, I was like with a Playboy centerfold. I was like, man, I'm gonna get lucky. Like, that's what I was like thinking. But and
she said you started messaging her like a couple months out of you going to LA on Instagram.
Yeah,
and
on Instagram, I reached out.
You're gonna be there in 3 weeks, 2 weeks, a week, 3 days.
I was very persistent. Because I was like, I'm gonna get lucky. I'm gonna like this is awesome. But we didn't even hook up. We kissed, but we talked for 8 hours straight, and it was a real deep conversation. Like, I was like, I really want a family of my own. Like, and like, my biggest fear in life is not being a good father. That is still today my biggest fear.
Why?
Because I don't want that. And especially now, of having children of my own, that's my biggest fear, is not being a good father. Not being able to be there for my family. And we had this long talk, and after that conversation, it was actually a genius on my part. I had this black Breitling watch that was covered in black diamonds, very expensive, and I left it at her place. And so the next day I was like, hey, I need to get I left my watch there because I did it on purpose, so I could see her again. She held on to it, saw her again, We started dating and everything.
So how did you propose?
So I did a little like research before this. I found out like what her favorite ring is. And I was like, oh, got it. I just want to make it bigger so everyone knows that she's taken. And so we take this helicopter ride. And we went down the coast and up Malibu, and then we landed on top of a mountain. I made sure on top of the mountain there was a picnic table that had roses, champagne, everything. I had practiced like this whole speech, everything, nailing it. Like towards the end, right the day before, I was like, I have this speech down. Like I know exactly what I want to say. It's going to be perfect. She sees these roses and everything. She's like, what is this? And I was like, oh, they just set this up for us, you know, the helicopter place. I thought it'd be nice just to look out, have perfect view. So she goes over by the edge, looks over, and like the mountains, the sun was setting, beautiful. And I get down on one knee, and then like I can't get the ring out of my pocket. I cannot. It's like I'm like gonna rip my jacket because I'm like this. And then she turns, she's like, what are you doing? She starts like, knowing, she starts crying and like laughing at the same time, and like I pull it out and I show her, and I was like, all that could come out of my mouth was like, I love you so much, will you marry me? That's it. I totally ruined my entire speech, everything. And she was like crying, like laughing, but she didn't say yes yet. I'm like, is that a yes? And she's like, yes, of course. And so we get in this limo and we go to Nobu. And we had our private like dining section, and her family was there. They're like, surprise! And she just busted out crying even more. I was like, yes, I did it, because it's so hard to surprise her.
Tell about each of your kids.
Oh my God. Caden. Caden is more like Kayla. He's so smart. He's a boy, so he likes to get into like mischief, like be a little troublemaker, but he has the biggest heart. Like if we play cry, like I'll be like, oh, he'll come over and start petting me and be like, are you okay, Daddy? It's okay, it's okay. And like he'll give me a hug, it's like, I'm here. I'm like, who are you? Like, who is this little kid? It's amazing. His eating habits are, I'm to blame because I have bad eating habits. He knows what candy is for sure because I've given him some candy. So like if mom says no, he'll come to me, and I'm a little guppy when it comes to my children. He'll be like, Daddy, can I have an Oreo cookie? I'm like, yeah, sure. And then he'll be eating it, and then Kayla will be like, what the hell? I just said he couldn't. I was like, I'm sorry. I get caught red-handed. Caden, that's Caden. Caden is, he likes swimming. One of my proudest moments, like, it happened about a couple weeks, like 2 weeks ago. He's learning how to swim, and we went to the pool, me and him, and we both had goggles on. And he's still getting used to the pool and everything, but he was swimming stroke for stroke with me. And that to me, like, I busted out crying. Like, I was just like, this is the best moment. Like, yeah, you see your son, you like father and son like play catch. No, it was me and my son swimming together. And it was just like, he got back home, he's like, I swim with Daddy. I'm like, oh, fuck, this is the best thing ever. Like, it can't get better than this.
Could you see him getting into swimming?
You know, I want everyone said like, oh, you're gonna push your son into swimming. I'm like, no, whatever my son does, I want him to do 100%. Like if he picks soccer, if he picks drawing, like do it 100%. Don't half-ass it. Like that's not what you're here to do. Like you're gonna give it your all right? But try it. I want you to try it. I want him to try everything. And if he doesn't like it, he doesn't have to do it.
What about your daughter?
My daughter, she's more like me. Like, she's just chill. She's just chill. She's a princess. She's just like, Daddy, come pick me up. Like, I'm not doing this. She's like the bougie type. Her name's Liv, but we call her Sissy. But she's more like me. Just really chill, goes with the flow.
Finances.
Yeah.
What did you think of Alex Rodriguez's CNBC episode with you?
Now that it's over and everything, I don't have anything to hide. Like, I didn't like it. Like, the perception that he portrayed to my wife was completely wrong. We were looking at cars because had to trade in her car for the show, whatever, and to cut down our expenses. And they made her say like, "Oh, this is no," like being like, "No, this is not. I would never drive this." And that's not her, and it portrayed her as being this superficial person, and that's not her at all. And I was really hurt about that part because I have to protect my family, and I was pissed off about that. I was like, this is bullshit. Like, what are they doing? But there's some things that did help, like, you know, doing like apologies, you know, like to my teammates, to some people like that. I mean, that helped me out because I don't know if I would have the courage to do that. But, you know, at the end of the show, he got me this big deal for this company called Fit Plan, but I haven't been paid from them. I was supposed to be getting paid like monthly, but I only been paid 3 times. And that deal started in November of last year.
What did they say?
They just say, they say, so it's not fair for us to pay you all this money if you don't get all these subscribers. I just recently reached out even like a month ago to Alex, being like, dude, I know you got me, like your show is back in the game. There's the good and bad things that happen out of this, but back in the game, like I'm not really back in the game. Like I'm still back at where I started before the show started. Like, so what did you really like, are you gonna try to get me another deal or what? And like, haven't heard anything from them.
When the sponsors dropped post Rio, collectively, how much money do you think went away?
Millions. I can't put a number on it, just a lot.
I saw somewhere maybe like 5 to 10.
I was projected to go that way, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
How did it affect you?
I mean, every sponsor that I had, and I was supposed to collect all these bonuses because of me getting another medal, everyone just dropped me. So I just lost out on so much money, and the negative effect that it had afterwards. I couldn't get any new sponsors.
What was the moment you realized you were in trouble financially?
I guess like really bad was when basically the Alex Rodriguez show, because he basically showed me like the business side, the business world, and like showing me like all my expenses that I've been having, and how absurd it is, and how you need to start cutting back. Which, I mean, I wish I had paid more attention to that kind of stuff at such a younger age when I started making money.
Yeah.
Back in 2007 or 6. Because then I would have been well more prepared than I am right now.
I was going to say, how much of getting in that trouble was because of sponsors dropping, and how much was because of just spending beyond your means, predating that?
Well, predating Rio and everything, I was the type of person, because I loved seeing everyone happy. I love seeing that. And so like if I go out to a bar, I will buy probably everyone in the bar a shot or something, or a drink. Just because when I give it to them, that one little moment of them smiling, being like, wow, like, thanks. That makes me happy. And that's why I would do all these things.
How hard was selling the shoe collection?
We're still trying to do that now. I mean, I still have boxes and boxes in the storage of shoes that are worth like $1,500. And I have like 200. So it's like, why? And it's just stupid things that I was doing.
What do you think you learned from going through the financial challenges?
Just on how stupid I am about my financials, like, and how careless I am. Like, I never really looked at it. I never cared to, because I just knew at that time money was just always coming in. And now that I have a family of my own, it's like a big slap on my, across my face. It's like, I could have had all this money saved up and everything for my kids and everything, but I was just careless. We're doing better, way better than I was. But yeah, it's just like, we're still learning.
All right, you talked about being a people pleaser, and obviously there's positives and negatives of that, but the reality show that you did and then the subsequent lawsuit to get out of it, what can you tell about just kind of going through that experience?
I mean, the reality TV show that I did isn't reality. It wasn't reality at all. It was scripted. Like, if we did a scene with me and my family or anything, they'd be like, all right, Ryan, so let's do this again, but you say it this way. But I was like, I wouldn't really say it that way. But I was like a deer in the headlight. Like, I was like, okay. And so the show portrayed me as like just some person that I'm not. I can't say it was horrible because I did get to meet Lil Wayne because of it. So I thought that was the best thing ever. And I mean, I guess you could say at the end of the day, like later on in life, being like, oh, so I can say I had my own reality TV show. I guess that's a checklist, I guess. I don't know.
How difficult was getting out of it? Because, you know, maybe you wanted to get out of it for the right reasons, and people that you worked with might have wanted to keep you in it for their own motivations. Yeah,
I mean, it was my agent at the time. I wanted to part ways because I didn't like the way my image was going. And I wanted to leave, and apparently I just listened instead of actually reading a contract or anything. I just listened, being what was said about it, and it wasn't true, and said like, oh, you're stuck with me, blah, blah, blah. And so we got sued, but we had a settlement for a lot of money. So like for another 4 years, or 3 or 4 years, she was collecting money, and I never even saw her.
COVID, how's it impacted your life?
I hate to say this because like this is huge, like, and it's affecting so many people around the world, and I hate that because it's just one bad thing after another that you hear on TV that's happening to people, which I don't want. But I'm loving it being quarantine because I spend so much time with my family now. I go to swim practice, I come home, and I'm at home with my kids and my wife, and we're getting closer, like, as a family, and I love that so much, and I can spend more time with them.
I understand your 99-year-old grandma had it.
Yes, and if you want to talk about someone that needs credit, she does. She's a tough cookie. She ain't going down without a fight. I mean, yeah, she got it, and she had no symptoms, and she fought it. 99. If I could live that long, that'd be awesome.
Likelihood you think the 2021 Olympic Games are canceled?
Please, come on, don't even put that in my head. I don't even want to think about that. No. It just can't. It won't. I'll have my own Olympic Games then in my backyard or something. I mean, I really hope it doesn't. But what can you do? It's not in our hands. Like, we have to do what everyone else says, and we have to stay safe. And, you know, just pray for the best. Like, it's gonna work itself out. If it happens, great, because I'm fucking ready. And if it doesn't, then it doesn't. But I'm not gonna give up. I'm still gonna go. Like, my goal is to make my 5th Olympics and to get another medal. I'm gonna try that.
What do you do with your medals? Outside of the Olympic ones?
Oh, outside the Olympic, I was like, the Olympic ones, I think some of them are here. Yeah. But every medal that I've ever won, I don't have. I've given them away. So back in 2007, when I won broke a world record, I gave that medal away. And I give them all the way to fans. Because that moment, like when I put that medal around their neck, they're like either crying hysterically because they're so excited, or they're smiling from ear to ear. And I'm like, you know what? That's why I do this. Just for that. I love that. Like it makes me want to swim and train even harder and get more medals so I can be able to do that and give that spark to someone else.
How did an interaction as a kid in an Indianapolis hotel impact your perspective on that?
My dad told you that? Yeah. Well, I'm not going to say the name of the swimmer. I just don't want to.
Mark Spitz?
No.
Oh.
No. I'm not going to say the name, but he was a USA swimmer. Great USA swimmer. Won golds. But I saw him walking past our room, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's him. So I get a piece of paper and pen. It was just me and him in the elevator. I was like, hey, can you sign this for me? And he goes, no. And I immediately I was like, in my head, I was like, why? Like, you're not doing anything. Like, can you just sign this for me? Like, please? And like, I was crushed. Like, I looked up to this guy, and he said no, I couldn't. Like, he wouldn't be able to sign it. And I was just, my heart was broken, basically. And then I remember saying, I was like, if I ever get in that position, I will never say no. Still to this day, when someone comes up and says, Ryan, can I have an autograph? I'm like, what? Like, are you serious? Like, me? Why? Me? Like, oh my God, awesome. Like, that's so cool. Like, and I love that. I love that people want that. Like, it's so cool.
I have a few questions left in the remaining moments. But how about the quality that you're most proud of when it comes to yourself?
What do you mean?
Or like, what about yourself are you most proud of?
That I will never give up. I'm a fighter. I can keep fighting. I mean, you've seen it. Like, I've been knocked down so many times, but I keep getting up and keep fighting. With swimming, so many people said no. Like, you can't do that. Watch me. Yes, I can. And I find a way to make myself better and keep pushing forward.
What do you want to do after competitive swimming?
I don't know. There's so many things I do want to do. Like, I love kids. So I love, like, one of the things that I really want to do is, like, you know those music tours that you see, like those big buses?
Sure.
So I want to have that, but for swimming. Like a tour bus for me that I go to major cities and put on swim clinics and teach kids how to swim. How freaking awesome would that be?
It'd be amazing.
Like, I would love that. That would be so cool.
Do you find the unknown of what you're going to do post-competitive swimming exciting, nerve-wracking?
I mean, it's a little bit of both. Will I be depressed because swimming is a big part of my life? I don't know. I don't know what the unknown. I don't know. But I am excited because new adventure, a new journey, a new life. Like, what's gonna happen? Dun dun dun.
So can we end the interview with you saying the word you tried to trademark?
Oh, shit. I thought I put that behind me. All right, I can do it. I can do it for you.
Well, you should pick one of those cameras.
Pick this one.
All right. I'll give you a good one. All right. This is funny. Ready?
Yeah.
Cheer.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.